We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live.
I got this. Just watch my back. I got this front. Check it out now. I got you stuck off the realness. We be the infamous, you heard of us. Official Queensbridge murderers. The mob comes equipped.
Let's go. Welcome to Queens Baseball Live, episode 1, baby. Let's go. First of all, I want to thank everybody for last week. That was fire. No prep. Well, actually, a lot of prep, but no promotion. That's actually true. And we had, 500-600 souls watching our stream. It wasn't live on YouTube. It's live now. So as you can see, fuck it. We're doing it live right now on YouTube. So like and subscribe, please. It will help us. We're just trying to grow this community, grow this live. As you can see, we're going to continue to have the conversations you like on the spaces. We're going to continue to have them in live now. So I just want to start making sure that to remind you of that. Like, we appreciate y'all, and if you could like and subscribe, share it to your cousins, to your aunts, to everybody, to the group chat. That's what I did. So the support goes a long way. So I appreciate y'all. All right, so let's start. We got to talk about the opening day lineup. The fellas, y'all know the beautiful six faces here, including my own. You see Randy Talks, you see OV, you see my guy Top, my guy Jay Fern, Swift, and myself. And then again, the best producer in the world, Ricky.
Producer Rick.
Oh, Rick.
Yo.
Dímelo, pa.
My guy Rick.
Yeah, baby.
Yo.
You're ready. I'm here on the ones and twos, man. If I mess anything up, just blame me, bro. You're ready.
Love it.
That won't happen. Don't worry.
Love it. As y'all know, as y'all see, we have some more faces. We're gonna have some even more addition to the Queens baseball community and the family. Maybe we'll have 8 screens, or maybe one day we'll have 4 screens. But as you can see, it'll be a little bit different every week. But we're trying to be consistent every Thursday. You saw us a little bit past 8:30. Our bad, little technical difficulties as always. But we'll try to do this every Thursday for sure. We couldn't do the space today. It was just a lot going on. But we want to do a space before we do the live. So next week we'll get back on that. But the first topic definitely want to talk about is the opening day lineup. It's super important. It's something that we've been talking about for weeks and days in the spaces, and now we're doing it now. So I'm gonna give that to Randy to start, and then we'll continue from there.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, we're definitely going to talk about the lineup. This is the lineup that Queens Baseball, our group, that we kind of agreed on, and we got Lindor, we got Soto, we got Bo Bichette, we got Polanco as the cleanup, and I think 1 through 4, that's universally agreed on. You got Marcus Semien as the 5th hitter. You got Beatty as the 6th. This is probably going to be your opening day lineup against Paul Skeens. So this is going to be tough. But now we got Beatty as the 6th. We got 7 Vientos and Alvarez as the 8th, and Robert as the 9th. So definitely an exciting lineup. I think when it comes to this lineup, it could go either way. Like, this lineup could be so different because you have guys like a Beatty, like a Vientos, like an Alvarez that can all hit around that 5th and 6th, spot. I like this lineup though. For me personally, I like Lindor. I like Soto. I like Bo Bichette. I love having Bo Bichette behind Juan Soto because this is a guy that puts the ball in play every single time. He's just an awesome bat. So an awesome get for the New York Mets, and I'm very, very excited about Bo Bichette. And then you got Polanco. Now Polanco, he's a switch hitter, but he had a really, really good year in 2025. So, and you got Marcus Semien. I like Marcus Semien. I think Marcus Semien, he's had some rough years, but I think he still has the ability to put the ball in play. So, and then Beatty, that's going to be the interesting one. Left field. He's probably going to play left field. He's probably going to play in some type of role. Now, me personally, I would like to just have Vientos, in a spot like that, and probably like Vientos and Bench, because I want Bench to make the lineup. So I would probably put Beatty as the utility guy and have Vientos be this DH guy, because I really want Mark Vientos to take that spot and run with it, because I saw what he did in 2024, and I think he had a just an awesome year. So there's a lot to like with the lineup. There's a lot to like. I want Benj to make the lineup. I really, really want Benj to make the lineup, but who knows? Like, it could go either way, anyway. But yeah, man, we'll see what happens. Let's hear from my guy Jay Ferd. What's going on, Jay Ferd?
Go ahead.
So before we get started, so if you're saying Benj cracks the roster, so then what will be your lineup? Where would you put Benj at?
So that's what I was about to say. So I think it's important to know that we understand that Carson Benj will most likely make the opening day roster or be there soon, right? So this is an opening day lineup for us that we feel that's going to be without a Carson Benj. Now, with Carson Benj being in here, then I think we talked about this for a long time. Brett Beatty becomes your utility guy, right? You know, and we'll talk more about this later, where he's gonna get the at bats that was promised to him by David Stearns. I couldn't get to 500. I got really close to it. Where do you see yourself? So I have Brett Beatty playing, I think, 20 games or so in left field, which means it gives a lot of games and a lot of bats to Benj. So ultimately, I do want to see a kind of like what the Braves did 2 years ago or 3 years ago in 2023, where they had like 10 guys that had 15 home runs or more. That's what I want to see. I want to see Brett Beatty as a utility guy, where against lefties, you see more Mark Vientos. Against righties, you see more Brett Beatty, and just throw him around everywhere. That's what I think after opening day.
The thing that I love about Vientos at 7 is so I did some digging. So last year, Vientos in the first inning he batted 321. In the second inning he batted 315. His OPS was 841, and his OPS in the second inning was 815. So right then and there, it seems like Vientos likes to get ahead of the game and go early, and that looks like he's gonna have a good game. But the interesting factor here is that, and these are all I don't want to say a sample size, but this is where he was in the most. And when he batted fourth, he batted 319 with a 1,058 OPS. And when batting seventh, which we have him here in the lineup, he was batting 313 with a 952 OPS. So it seems like Mendy, I guess towards the second half, he's finally figured out with some playing time and some consistent playing time, found the sweet spot for Vientos. So I really love him here in the 7 spot, because I think that's we're going to probably get the most production out of him. And it also might give him that chip. Remember that chip he had on in 2024? It's like, oh, they don't believe in me. So maybe putting him 7th, he's gonna like, listen, now I gotta go out there and I gotta show them who I am. So I love this lineup. I think it's gonna be good, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah, man. I'm a fan of it so far, and this is all assuming Beatty's gonna get a lot of ABs straight out of spring training. Beatty's gonna probably start on opening day. We're assuming whether you are or not a fan of that. We'll see if he hoops or not in spring training. I don't hate it. I will say this. It would be one hell of a motherfucking debut for Carson Bench to face Paul Skeens in his first official MLB game. So if I'm going to put him in the lineup, I'll take into account that boy should be batting close to the end while runs are already being scored or runners are being already put on base for him, make things a little easier for him. Maybe that's a little pressure, but maybe he needs it. I don't hate it. The wild card to me is always going to be Mark Vientos, bro. Is he 2024 or is he 2025? Which one is he? And we'll see. I like the splits that Jay Fern pulled up about him. I know he's a big fanboy, and I want to believe. I lost a lot of hope in a lot of the young cats, but this is it. This is the year to show me what you're worth, man, because, and we'll get to possible trade rumors about them in a bit, but if you're going to be put in a trade conversation potentially for something bigger or better, quote unquote, which I disagree with. Show your worth, man. That's it.
The OV, can I ask you a question real quick?
Yo.
Do you have more? I know you have a lack of faith in both these gentlemen, but do you have more faith on Mark Vientos than you have Beatty, or the other way around? And why?
Right now, Beatty. One, positional versatility. Obviously, I'm gonna go based off of that. Two, I think he was just a little bit more consistent than Vientos was throughout the entire season. Now, granted, Mark Vientos tried to hit us with the buzzer beater towards the end. He was hooping. He was doing his thing. I just can't help but feel that the way he performed through most of the season kind of let me down. And that's not just him. That goes for Mauricio. That even goes for Alvy to some extent. Granted, he was hurt, so I can't ding him too much on that. But long-winded way of saying slight edge to Beatty, and y'all know I'm not a motherfucking Brett Beatty fan.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, I like the lineup. I just think that I would like to see Benj in it. To Jay Fern's questions last time, I think I would like to see Benj in that spot. I think that Stearns and the Mets, they really want Carson Benj to take that opportunity and run with it. I feel that way. So I would probably put Robert as the 9th hitter and Benj as the 8th hitter and go from there. That's what I would do. But very, very exciting. Let's get to my guy Top, bro. How you feeling, Top?
Hey man, well, first and foremost, shout out to all our, everybody watching 95, man. We appreciate y'all time, man. Shout out to you guys, man. No, listen, I think this lineup is very it's deep, it's well constructed. I think from top to bottom, you gotta love what you see. Everybody has their own element in terms of what they're bringing from both sides of the baseball. I think for me, and I'm gonna go off the handle just a little bit. I think, in terms of wild card, I think the wild card for me would be Francisco Alvarez. Francisco Alvarez has been put in a position where, there's so much riding on this kid, yet there's inconsistencies at the plate. There's his questions within defense in terms of him being able to stop balls on the ground, him being able to get runners out at second, and then obviously, I think injuries also play a factor in it. If you can find yourself a consistent, healthy Francisco Alvarez with the power that he shows, and obviously his defense being a little better, I think he not only elevates that bottom half of the lineup, but he's a young kid that has came up with the guys of Vientos and Beatty that can definitely help them in terms of bringing that energy. You see it all the time. Every time he hits a big hit, he's always energized. He wants to be there. He wants to play there every day. But you need to see consistency all around from him. And I think if you can find that, he's definitely going to be able to lengthen his lineup. So I think the wild card for me has to be Francisco Alvarez, because I've already seen what Mark Vientos can do when he's consistent, when he's hot. I think the fan base needs to believe in him more instead of just giving up on him right away. And it's the same thing with Brett Beatty. Brett Beatty showed me something where when he was playing consistent baseball, he was making contact. Again, I just think it's the fan base that give up on these guys too fast and want to pivot. And I think the same goes for Francisco Alvarez. But this lineup, based on what they've been able to do, the pivots that they've been able to make after losing some of the top key guys in free agency, I think it's well deep. It's better than last year. And I think everybody lengthens their lineup really well.
Take Vientos out of the lineup, brother. He ain't that guy. We all thought
Fern has entered the chat.
Jay Fern got some competition right here.
He ain't the only one.
I mean, yeah, let me see. We got a comment from Carlos here. You know what bothers me about this lineup? Having Alvy bat, 8th. I would rather have Vientos higher and Alvy at 7th. I get that. I understand that. I personally feel that Alvy, he could be in that higher spot. He could be. So I definitely see what you're saying. If LOL, they have a bounce back year. We don't even know if Carson Benj is going to be ready in time. You're right. We don't know if he's going to be ready in time, but I think the hype is real. I think that there will be an opportunity for Carson Benj.
Absolutely.
That boy looks ready.
We will see, man. Let me see. We got some other comments, guys. We got here. What's going on from Patty? What's going on, Patty? How you doing? Yo,
Patty.
Baseball. Appreciate you coming, to the channel. Appreciate you coming to our live always. We got Carlos a lineup here. Lindor, Bichette. So, you got Bo Bichette as the second guy. That's
Nah, bro.
You
so you're taking out Soto. Okay,
Carlos, you're fired.
all right. And then you put in Soto in the third, and you put in Vientos in the cleanup spot.
Oh, there you go. What's up, Jay Fern?
Polanco in the fifth spot.
No, you're fired, bro.
6 Simeon.
Jay Fern has left the chat.
Alvarez,
I'm loving
Alvarez.
that, bro.
Respect
I'm
that.
loving it.
Wow.
My boy CG.
Yo, but
That's my guy.
But like, Brandon Camacho out here throwing Vientos in the
Listen,
dirt, son.
It's all good, man. Everybody has their own opinions.
Yo.
Hey, you know.
Yo, I absolutely love it, man. Let's
We
get to
can't
my
please
guy.
everybody.
And before
Let's get to my guy Swift, bro. How you feeling
Yo,
about the lineup?
you know what's funny when my guy Carlos Mendoza had a chance to talk about the lineup, he only talked about 3 guys, right? The first 3 guys. He said it's going to be Lindor, Soto, and Bichette. And I think when we were doing this little exercise before this, right? And for the record, y'all, we do prep. All right, we really do be meeting and prepping. Okay, this is not just some like run of the mill show. This is real professional. You see the
we prep, but we don't get paid for it, Swift. So
and the headphones,
pays us,
the
all right.
equipment, it's official. But we talked about it, and I think we were all universal about Polanco being 4, right? And I think the profile is real interesting, right? Because Bichette and Polanco are 2 guys that we consider they're looking to be line drive hitters, right? They're trying to be very efficient with their swings. They're not trying to hit home runs every single time. And it's interesting because Bichette, actually, when I looked up his stats, he sees on average less pitches per at bat than most hitters. So you talk about a guy that's hitting right behind Soto. My man is coming out swinging, okay, and he's going to see pitches to hit. So he's going to have the opportunity to actually produce on a real crazy level. And you think about, hey man, this is a guy that, remember, we talked about it last week when we were talking about some of these signings. We're going to have mercenaries. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have guys that are coming in and out of this team every year that are coming for the Soto effect, right? The hitting behind Lindor and Soto. That's going to be real healthy for their bank accounts when it comes a year. It got Pete 31 mil for 5 years, you know? Yep. No disrespect to what Pete has done in his career before Soto came, but it got him that long-term deal. So when we talk about like the guy hitting behind Soto and Lindor, that's really important. And we think about the profile of Bichette and Polanco. And then when I think the biggest question was who's going to be batting 5th. And I think for purposes of the opening day lineup, my case was that I think Mendoza is going to give the respect for Marcus Semien, and he's going to give him that 5th slot. I think he's just going to show respect to the veteran. We know it's going to be Paul Skeens. We know that Marcus Semien had a down year last year. Obviously, injury affected a lot of his numbers. But Marcus Semien is going to come and have an impact and have the ability to have a lot of runners on base and have the opportunity to rack up some real heavy numbers. And remember, we talked about this last year. What was the biggest bugaboo with this team? Runners in scoring position. We're going to have a lot of professional at-bats, right, up through the 5th lineup. Now, 6 through 9, I think that's where a lot of the back and forth happened. And I see a couple of the guys smiling right now because we all have very strong opinions. And I think our whole fan base has strong opinions about 6 through 9, all those guys, right? I mean, I think 6 through 8, those are homegrown. Those are the guys that we've seen since day one. Because you know what? Queens baseball, we watch all the games. We watch all the games
at Queens baseball. That's a fact.
But 6 through 8, we've seen them since day one. And we've been with the highs with Vientos, remember the 2024 season, and the lows of Vientos in the 2025 season. We've seen them all. So I know that's where a lot of our grumbling is going to be. But I like the lineup that's presently constructed. I think you have speed at the bottom of the lineup. You have the power of Vientos and Alvarez hitting back to back. And I think Beatty, this is the year, man. I mean,
gap hitter too.
You know, we'll get to Beatty, whether he's even going to make it to opening day, but we'll get there. But I like this lineup as presently constructed. We're going to score a lot of runs. So I'm real excited about this.
Appreciate you, Swift. Yeah, man. Thank you so much. I mean, I agree with you. I think Marcus Simeon is a really, I think he's gonna get that shot at 5th. And I like the lineup. Man. Let's get to my guy. We got a comment here. Let me see. Swift hit only on why I like Bo as 2nd. He's a pure contact hitter. Okay, that's great at Citi Field. Man, I really like him batting ahead of Soto. To be honest, Robert, Lindor, Bichette ahead of Soto at 3 is scary.
Yeah, 1999 called. They want their lineup back, my brother.
But let's get to my guy Pope, man. How you feeling?
Sorry. My bad, guys. I think it's important to discuss that the contact hitting, right? I think this is why we have the lineup the way we do to start 1 through 5, just to start. And now Marcus Simeon, Brett Beatty, Mark Vientos, Alvarez, Luis Bob, all of these guys profile as a 5th hole hitter. Now, we only have 5 guys that can. We only have 1 guy that could hit in the 5th hole, but we have 5 guys that profile like it, and it just depends who's going to be the hot hitter. We here at Queens Baseball, we believe that the manager, Mendy, is going to go with the veteran. First of all, Simeon, regardless of how you see his last year and a half or so, not great, but he's a contact hitter. 1 through 4, actually 1 through 5, if you count Simeon, Polanco, Bichette, Soto, Lindor, both of them have less than a 20% strikeout rate. So you want your best hitters to go 1 through 5. Now, this is where it gets tricky. 6 through 9, including Beatty, Vientos, Alvarez, Luis Bob, all 4 of those guys have higher strikeout rates. So that's going to be a little bit tough, especially when the guys get a little bit cold.
Yeah.
But the way we're talking about it, the way we think, Luis Bob Jr. 3 years ago hit 38 bombs. 3 years ago, Alvy hit, 25, 26? He almost
25.
Around 25 home runs, yeah.
Brett Beatty last year hit 18 home runs.
18. Yeah.
Marcus Simeon 20+ home runs last year, even though not a great year. I think the point is that we're trying to say here is that the battle for the 5th host slot is going to be up in the air. It's going to be there. It's going to be the battles of the 5th holes, right? Like who's gonna win the job, right? And to start off, you want the veteran there. You want the contact hitter. You want the right-hand contact hitter. This is where this Brett Beatty, they really believe in Brett Beatty. That's why, this is very, believe it or not, we did this lineup ourselves, but this is very similar to Fangraphs, except that they actually have Mark Vientos, 96, and then they already put in Carson Bench. We actually agree with that. There's going to be lineups where you're going to see that. It's just, I don't know if it's going to be the everyday lineup for Paul Skeens. Yes, I agree. I don't think they're going to just throw in Carson Bench on day one. So on day 1, game 1, this is going to be the lineup. And I want to jump into something that we talked about, that me and the fellas talked about in the space this week, and it was Brett Beatty. If they believe in this kid, and he's not a kid anymore, what is he going to be, 25, 26 this year?
No, he's 26.
If he's going to be...
Beatty?
Go ahead. Yeah, Brett Beatty.
Yeah.
So he's around that age already. If we believe in this kid, right, we have to talk about him being the super utility guy. So what David Stearns promised or spoke to him about, and I actually have the K rate right here. So just to give you an example, this is projected, but it's around similar to what the same K rate percentage last year. So Fangraphs has Lindor K rate at 18 this year, Soto 17. It was actually the other way around, where Lindor actually had a lower K rate last year, but they had Bo Bichette's K rate at 16. 16. That is, what I'm saying? They had Polanco at 20, and then it keeps going up and down. They had Marcus Simeon at 16, which is a little low, but he was in the late teens last year as well. But the point, you guys got to see the point, low strikeout rate. After that, you start seeing everyone 23, 24, 25 and up from the lineup of the 6 and 9. So my point is, going back to Brett Beatty, who they believe in, who does have a high K rate, where are you going to play him? How is he going to get 500 bats? I couldn't come up with the actual 500 bats that I promised y'all on the space, but I did come up with 476, and there is a way to get to 500 bats. And I'll try to be quick with this. So I spoke about it in the space, but I kind of got more detail, did a little spreadsheet. as Swift said, we do our homework and we watch all the games here at Queens Baseball. So I'm going to start off with the position that he's probably going to play the most, and believe it or not, it's going to be left field. So that doesn't mean that he's going to take all the games away from the kid bench for Carson Bench, but I have him at 40. So 40 games to start at left field. And again, we're moving Brett Baty around, right? So I have him 27 games at third base, 21 games in first base. That might surprise some of y'all, but that's just what I believe. Second base, I have him at 20 games. To give you an example, you know, where do we have, if we have him on second, how many games is Marcus Semien? Well, Marcus Semien is an Iron Man. I understand that. He definitely is an Iron Man. But for the Mets, he just got here, bro. So you're going to play a solid 140 games. So that's where he comes with the 20 games for Brett Baty. I actually threw 2 games for Bo, just to give you an example, just so you guys could play with the example with me, pause. And first base, I have him for 21. And then third base 27, just to reiterate what I was saying before. And I do have him at DH for a couple of games. I have him for 28 games, which is the second most to Mark Vientos. That gives us a total of 136 games, which is very similar to what he did last year with 476 at bats. The way we did the math is if he's playing most of his games in a 6-hole, 7-hole, that's around 3.5 at bats per game. I did the math. If there's some blowouts, maybe you get him to the 500 at bats. But that's how we see Brett Baty playing 136 games, or that's how I see it. With Carson Bench, just to give you an example, that's an easy 120 games or 110 games in left field, 10 games, probably more in the center field, maybe even a couple of games in right. I do have Soto at 158 games at right field with 2 games with Luis Bob, and you know the other 2 games could be TT. But that's our point. That's how you see the vision with Brett Baty having basically a full-time, role here with the team. So that's what I have so far when it comes to that. So
I you see a comment here by Tony. Credit to Tony. Appreciate you coming to the live, bro. Benj is winning left field. It all depends on if Stearns manipulates his time and brings him up in April on April 12th, so he has that extra year before Arb. That's very interesting.
Yes,
that's going to be the 4D chess that Stearns is going to play most likely. That's what I see happening, which is why I think maybe even if this motherfucker is Barry Bonds in Port St. Lucie, he might get a little, a little 2-week vacation and have to be on Hinge in Syracuse for a couple weeks, bro. So we might have to see that just until April 12th. Get that extra year of Arb. You know what I mean?
I just don't like that. I get it. I would love an extra year of Benj, but I think if he's hitting well to start, why are we setting him down just to manipulate?
Because bureaucracy is bureaucracy, and baseball has some screwy ass rules, and them shit still apply to the Mets. All right,
because you could save $30 million.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I mean, in 2019, they brought up Pete Alonso, and they took that risk, and
he was inevitable. I'm sure this is also different. This is also
he was also a little older too,
and this is also different. Pobo, our demon is not here anymore. Granted. Stearns is quasi valid in these streets still, somewhat. I know Jerry's still out. I respect that, but you know what I mean. He got hood points back this offseason.
Yeah.
So we'll let him go. We'll let him go.
There wasn't a guy that I think David Stearns talked more highly about and was more open about. Yo, man, young bull, go ahead and take the damn job. And he said it. He all but said yo, Carson Bench force me to make a decision that I will, with my mind, I know I can't make. That comment is exactly what, and I agree with Randy. I think we're all opposed to the whole 2-week, rent Syracuse, get that Airbnb, Poppy. Don't rent for 6 months. You know what I'm saying? Don't sign that lease.
I mean, it's a pathway that he follows within. I would say it's a strict regimen in terms of him being able to follow what he's been preaching out there into the fan base, trying to stay young, but also trying to put out a defensive product. So there's a lot that he's seen from Carson Bench within the field that he loved, to the point where he was willing to get rid of one of his veterans in Brandon Nimmo and open up that left field slot for a Carson Bench. So that way the opportunity is there. Now, of course, the opportunity may not be there in terms of how he comes in spring training, where, you know, that could be put into question. But I have no doubts that while he was preaching run prevention and while he was eliminating those guys that really couldn't hack it defensively on a consistent basis, he also looked at it as an opportunity of, I really like what this kid brings from that aspect, and I think his time is here. And if I can give him that runway while getting rid of one of my core guys, it all falls into one pathway for him to still, you know, follow what he wants to follow and tell the fan base, listen, this is what I want to do, and I got to do this in order to make it happen.
And this is an interesting comment, because Pope talked about, you know, the Beatty and the at bats for him, and how can we actually get some at bats for him? With David Stearns talking about, we're going to give you 500 at bats. But there's an interesting comment by Minnesota here. Bichette, Polanco, and Robert Jr. are always injured, and Simeon is getting old. Another huge injury risk. Now, I completely understand that, but I mean, I wanted to get you to get your take on that, Jay Fern. How do you feel about that?
So, yes. So Bichette, I know he gets hurt. He's been hurt a little bit. You know, Luis Robert Jr. the same thing. But I think the one that I'm not on board with is the Marcus Simeon. I know that he was hurt last year, but I actually was looking at the games that he played, and there was I believe it was 3 seasons. There was one in Oakland, and there was the one in Texas, and I think there was in the beginning when he was with the White Sox. Those were the only 3 years that he didn't play over 120 or 140 games. For him to be considered injury prone, I think it's a little much. The guy plays damn near every day, and I know he is older. He's 35.
Yeah, he's 35.
35. But man, he won a Gold Glove at last year. Like, I feel like a lot of people are expecting him to come on board, and they're expecting him to be like 30 home runs, 120 RBIs. Like, no, he's literally here for defense first. And at a down year, he still had 25 bombs. I get it, and I'm trust me, when Luis Rob Jr. and with Alvy, I'm already like, oh my goodness, bubble wrap these guys, sit them down, and let's get to opening day with them being healthy, because those are the ones that I feel like I'm more nervous about. Bo Bichette, he's gonna ball out. The guy he can opt out after year one, so he's gonna try to go out there and do his best so that he can opt out and get more money or whatever the case may be. If he doesn't, we're still gonna get a contact hitter. We're still gonna get some guy who doesn't strike out, and he's gonna be a demon on the base paths.
Yeah.
So.
We're paying him $5 million to opt out, so he's definitely has that option for him. And I think it was a good idea by the Mets to make sure we land the player and take him away from the Philadelphia shit fucking team over there in Pennsylvania. So
you know when Pope was talking about like doing the exercise for 500 at bats, I think when you talk about how Pobo went to Beatty immediately and he said, listen, I'm going to have 500 at-bats. And I think all of the things that we've been discussing, and I think the people that have been chiming in about like injury risks, I think Pobo understands that. There's going to be, he's like, yo, there's going to be 500 at-bats for you. You have to make sure that you take advantage. So if we all believe that Luis Robert is there, and I think that's where a lot of the lineup construction becomes at the forefront. You've built in Carson Bench is there. If a center fielder goes down, you've got a center fielder, a guy that you are going to give that long runway to. And you think about this, you've got Bo Bichette on basically a 1-year contract. Luis Robert, he has an option for next year. If this doesn't work out, Luis Robert knows he's gone. You've got a lot of guys that are literally still playing for their jobs. And by the way, Bo Bichette, 28. Luis Robert is not even 30 yet.
Yep.
You know, you got a lot of young guys that are going to have the opportunity to prove themselves. Mark Vientos knows that clock started. Brett Beatty knows that clock started, and we're going to get to that in a little bit. That clock might really be winding down soon, according to some reports. You know, so I think he's built in enough of that lineup where if one guy goes down, we've got acceptable solutions for them all up and down. And that's where a guy like Brett Beatty, who can, Bo Bichette goes down, cool. Marcus Semien isn't indestructible, cool. We've got a guy that can play second. Or we can move Bo Bichette to second and put Beatty at third. You've got all of the different chess pieces that he can play that he knows. Yeah. So this is why I think we all collectively are really excited about not just the lineup live spaces, but we're excited about the team. The team looks good.
Yeah. And real quick, just to jump in, because the comment gave me, because that's my biggest fear, is what I forgot who put the comment about the injury risk, and that's been my biggest fear, and I've vocalized that to the fellas, is that moving on from a guy like Pete, moving on. I know Nimmo was injured a little bit early in his career, but moving on from a guy like Nimmo who plays every day, who posts. McNeil, has had his injuries, but for the most part plays. So it's a risk, right? And that's what, obviously, injuries can hurt any team. But that's my biggest fear, is that these guys, some of these guys that we brought in, have injury history. Not Marcus Semien necessarily, but Luis Roberts, obviously Bichette was injured a little bit last year. So that I had to come up, because I saw that comment gave me, like, again, it just struck me on my biggest fears with this team. So
it's a natural feeling. I completely understand where you're coming from, because these guys, like, you're getting away from those guys, like the Pete, the Nimmo's guys, and you bring in these new guys. But some of these guys are, some injury prone. Luis Robert, he has not been healthy.
Tony HVAC says he was faking a lot of them injuries. I mean, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about faking.
I would too
injuries,
if I play with the White Sox. I'm not gonna hold you, bro.
I'm not gonna take
that PTO, V.
No, I'm not gonna say he faked injuries, but I think that Luis Robert, I don't think he was as motivated to play for the Chicago White Sox as he's going to be to play for the New York Mets. You know what I'm saying? Of New York. Like, I think he's going to be more excited. I think you got Soto here. Yeah. You got so many guys that, he can connect with and talk to, and just hopefully
it's a winning culture. It's a winning culture.
Bring that winning culture to, to him.
He's not necessarily used to that. He's going to be motivated. There's an opt-in in the contract. You know what I mean? There's a lot riding on what doing well would do for him. And, and there's also pretty women here, bro. What the fuck? Like, come on.
There you go. That a boy.
He's got to be upset that there's bidets now in Chicago.
Ooh, that part. Japanese toilets, bro.
Yeah. And we're not saying winning culture that we won World Series, but man, there's been rough times in Chicago, man. And,
come on, boy.
And mind you, as a reminder, this is how baseball works. It's crazy. And I'm glad that Swift mentioned some of the things when it comes to the positions. But let's be real, like, for the last 3-4 years, let me be real, son. Let me be real. For the last 3-4 years, Luis Bob Jr. has been literally batting 1, 2, 3, or 4. He's been in the middle of the lineup. He's going to be our 8th, 9th guy right now. And that's kind of like what you want when you add a talent like that. And that's something to think about. We understand the injury risk. I'm not going to put Marcus Semien in there. That was a fluke injury, to Jay Friend's point. I have him listed as 140, and it's not because he's old. It's just because it's a different kind of atmosphere when you come to a new team. Don't get me wrong. If he's having an MVP caliber season, he'll probably play 150 plus, maybe 160. But I have him marked down for 140. And it's because the team's going to talk to him. He's like, we want to make sure that you stay healthy like you were before last year. You were crazy healthy. He was like an Iron Man. He played 158 to 162 games every year, just like Lindor, just like Pete. So we got that again. So there's not that much flexibility. So I'm mentioning that there's going to be some flexibility. And I even put Bo there for 2 games. I put Beatty there for 20 games. That's kind of like how I did my little math. Mm-hmm. But to Swift's point, you got Bo Bichette, who's going to learn third base. He's been playing a shortstop all his career. He could play some second base just like he did in the World Series. You got yourself Lindor, who's mostly going to be a shortstop. You could throw him in second, but he's mostly going to be a shortstop. I already have him for 160 games, so he's going to be the main shortstop. Brett Beatty, third, second, first, DH, left. That's flexibility. I have Luis Bob. I have him for 120 to 130 games at most in center field. That gives you 20, 30 games that you could put Carson Bench there, not including left field. So when we say this is the opening day lineup, this is not going to be the everyday lineup. It's going to change. We have to understand that because again, Brett Beatty is going to turn to your utility number 10 guy with getting Silva on your at bats. There is no way in hell that you're going to just have the same 7 or 8 guys every day, same 9 guys. You have to have flexibility. These guys get tired. These guys are already, most of these guys are already in spring training already. They're going to hopefully play deep into October, right? Because look at the Fangraphs. I mean, my God, they have a second, third with the best record, which is kind of crazy. It's scary when you see stuff like that. But you know what that tells you? This has the potential to be a really good team. Just got to show up, though. Just got to show up.
They gotta show up, and I like the roster flexibility. I like what we have. I think we got to see how it gels. You know, we got a comment here by Brandon. Who on this lineup y'all think is gonna be under the microscope the most when the season starts?
I mean,
under the microscope. Interesting.
Why not everybody pick one?
Start at the top. Start at the top. Lindor and Soto right there. 1A, 1B. It starts at the top because the team goes as they go, right?
Okay.
And it's an all new lineup. There's too many different factors after them to kind of focus on just one of them. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, okay, Tony HVAC, good point on the pitching front. Senga, I can name a lot of. You can make that argument for a lot of the pitchers. I'm gonna go with that argument then. Let's take Tony's thing, Senga, because he looked like a star until my man Pistol Pete broke his leg. What the fuck he did to him?
I'm just kidding.
Until the first baseman who went to season 6 of The Wire in Baltimore that left us did his thing to Senga. You could make that argument. Senga looked real sharp that first half of the season until he got hurt, and then looked like Hideki Rabu after that. So you can make this argument that this is his last hurrah, right? So I'm gonna say that.
On that question, I think it's Jorge Polanco, right? We just talked about the guy who left, the guy that everybody's going to focus on, the first error, the first time he doesn't scoop the baseball from a low throw from Lindor. It's going to be talked about in the Queens Baseball Spaces. Shout out, shameless promo. All right, the post-game spaces that the Pope is going to host, right? We're going to be talking about it. Randy's going to talk about it in his lives and with Bunk. You know what I'm saying? Like it's going to be discussed. And when we talk about Polanco, he's going to be batting in Pete's spot too, right? We had him slotted in right where Pete was hitting last year. There's going to be a lot of comparisons there. And it's going to be easy for people to immediately go after the guy that they brought in to replace a fan favorite. To me, that's the guy that I think a lot of the attention, a lot of the first couple of boos you're going to hear, probably if I had to put money on anybody on that roster, it's going to be Polanco, because Polanco's got to replace a guy that a lot of fans loved. And fair or not, that first error, he's going
to personally, I and this might be from left field, but I think Bo Bichette and Luis Robert Jr. might be on that, only because when it came to the extent of how aggressive they were when it came to those two specifically, there wasn't really that much on how the Mets approached the signing of Polanco, right? They might have wanted him, but when it came to writers and it came to the insiders like a Salmon really going into depth about why why they wanted those two guys. I mean, you break it down, Luis Robert Jr. has been connected to the Mets since 2024, since I'll say the ending of 2023. So he's always been involved in conversations when it came to the Mets. Then they get their guy, right? They trade an infielder who some of us may have looked at it like, oh, he may not get consistent playing time, but he was put on a high pedestal. Then you look at a guy like Bo Bichette, who it was reported that they've been talking to him since the GM meetings. So they had situations where Bo Bichette was maybe part of their plans. So for those guys, especially Bo Bichette, for the money that they gave him and for what his replacement was based on them losing Kyle Tucker, I think those guys will be put under the microscope because of what they were projected to be when they signed them, the reason behind them, and the in-depth conversations that the Mets had with Bo Bichette, for example, prior to the whole situation of Pete and everything else with Kyle Tucker falling. They had conversations with Bo Bichette from the very beginning. So I think that plays a factor into what is he going to do, especially because Met fans are coming into the season basically knowing that he's going to opt out. So it's like, what production are you going to give us on a year where even if you don't play good, you're still probably going to opt out and not even be here? So I think that's important.
I want to add to that, but I really think that Bo is an expectation more than a ceiling floor kind of guy. I expect Bo Bichette to be one of those guys, and I expect him to just be that contact hitter that he's been, that 300, that 280, 290 contact hitter that he has been. I actually expect a lot more than 18 home runs from him that he did last year. So definitely that's there. My guy for me is Luis Bob Jr. The combination between him and like what we can get from like the Mark Vientos and the Brett Baty, that's gonna really dictate how our lineup is gonna be. It's not about like just him having the year that he had in 2023. We don't need that. You give me a 230, 240, 720, 725 OPS, but you steal 25 bags, 30 bags, and you give me 20 home runs at the bottom of the lineup to get some pressure out of Carson Bench. That's huge. And it's not even about his bat. It's also about the glove, too. Let's not forget, he's almost like very close to a gold glover. So that's, for me, my X factor. We're paying him the money. He's going to play for that extra year to opt in. He's probably going to he's going to probably be another vibes guy playing right next to Juan Soto, next to the kid, next to some Beatty, sometimes next to TT. But you know what I'm saying? He's going to definitely be a vibes guy for sure. He's going to be he's going to be hungry. So that's my guy for sure. I'm not sure if anybody wants to go before we go.
I mean, real quick, can y'all hear me? Because I know Jay Friend was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hear you.
Yep.
All right, boom.
So I wanted to go real quick. So for me, is my guy is Vientos. You can't put up a 2024 like you did and then have a spiraling 2025, and then in the offseason you hire Boris as your agent. Put up or shut up. That's all I gotta say on that.
Yeah. Put up or shut up. I like it. Put up or shut up. I mean, if he wants to be in this spotlight, he wants to be with Lindor, going to Knicks games, wants to go to these football games. Listen, man, you put up or shut up.
You want to be cosmopolitan, play cosmopolitan, my brother.
Yeah, bro.
All right.
Let's go. Yeah. I mean,
my bad.
I love the Vientos thing. I absolutely love I think Vientos is very important to this team. I think this year is probably going to be his last year to really make an impression on this team. Like if he doesn't have a good year, I think Stearns is just going to get rid of him. I feel that way because Vientos, when he's valuable, it's his bat. That's what makes him valuable. It's not his glove. It's not his defense. So,
and we know what Stearns values.
If he doesn't, if he's not productive, then goodbye.
Yeah, but I also think that plays a factor into Brett Baty too. Now, Brett Baty's not in the same situation as Mark Vientos in terms of the agent, in terms of the expectations and all that. Expectations a little bit, but also because he's being held on a higher pedestal within the organization, because he's involved in certain situations where it's like you see right now where he's possibly going to be traded to Pittsburgh. If the Mets pull back on a situation where they don't trade him and they keep him for the rest of the season, you need to show us why they made that decision the right decision. Because if they pull back and they don't move you and then you shit the bed the entire year, then it's like you wasted their time in a way. So although Brett Baty's not in the same situation as Mark Vientos, because they hold him to a higher pedestal and because they give him the rope to create those opportunities, he needs to use some of the success that he had last year and really put it on full display, or else it's going to be you got to put Brett Beatty into question as well.
Or
Yeah.
Amen to that. So I want to give a quick shout out because I know Queens Baseball Live, we're trying to do it every live on Thursdays 8:30, but obviously we have other great content creators. Sometimes schedules get mixed up and we're doing other stuff too, and we're doing it at the same time. I want to give a shout out to Subway to Shea Anthony. I know he's doing a dope live right now too. Was it Salicata? He has Salicata. So shout out to you for having Sal on it. And again, guys, please like and subscribe. Send it to your group chats. They'll give it a good like. Hopefully they're baseball fans. Hopefully we make them laugh a little bit. Send it to your group chats, to your family members. Like and subscribe, please. We really appreciate that. Another shout out to Joe the Barber. I know he's doing a space too. So shout out to him. He always gives us a lot of love. So shout out to Joe the Barber. So I know it's we have thousands and thousands of Met fans on Twitter, tens of thousands of Met fans. So there's enough love for everyone. So you guys wanted to go? I want to interrupt anybody.
No, yeah, I mean, I love what we're talking about here. I think this is important what we're talking about here, and what makes Beatty so important to the organization right now is his defensive versatility, man.
That's it.
And that's the big thing. That step that he took to play second base in spring training, that he did last year, in the minors as well, and it was 2 years ago or whatever. I know he was playing a lot of second base and trying to, get better with that, be more versatile. But we'll see what happens, man. But let's get into our, next segment and talk about Mr. Carlos Beltran. Top, take it over.
Top, go ahead.
7 años, cuando analizo mi carrera, mis mejores años en béisbol siento que lo tuve con los Mets de Nueva York. También pienso que una de las cosas importantes que ahora mismo atesoro mucho es la relación que tengo con los dueños de los Mets de Nueva York, con Steve, con Alex. Cuando analizo el proceso, pues me doy cuenta que mi identidad más grande en el béisbol está con los Mets de Nueva York. Quiero también aprovechar, ¿verdad?, esta oportunidad porque sé que a través de los años jugué con otras organizaciones. Comienzo Kansas City Royals, los Houston Astros, San Francisco, jugué en San Luis, jugué con los Yankees y jugué con los Rangers. Y no hay duda que todas esas organizaciones fueron parte de mi proceso, me ayudaron a continuar en mi carrera y a poder yo terminar siendo el pelotero que fui. Así que gracias a todas esas organizaciones por influenciarme de una manera positiva. Pero ahora cuando llegue el induction, esta es la gorra que voy a estar usando. Así que New York Mets, me siento orgulloso de casi 6 décadas de béisbol, ser el tercer jugador del Salón de la Fama que estará entrando al Hall of Fame con la gorra de los Mets de Nueva York. Así que quería compartir esto con ustedes porque son cosas que muchas veces la gente dice, ¿por qué tomó esa decisión? Pues aquí les cuento por qué tomé esta decisión.
Love it.
That's
Just
my
love
dog right there.
that was awesome.
So Carlos Beltran, I mean, yeah, a lot of y'all know this. He's one of my favorite players of all time. Like when we signed him, I was super duper excited. I couldn't even believe that we got him. He was the best player of the playoffs that year in 2024, and the fact that we got him in 2025 and it gave us a little bit of run in 2026, it was amazing. Carlos Beltran, like really, really, really is something that means a lot, especially to the younger Met fans, the older Met fans. Shout out to you, Flip. I see you, que lo que. He had a dope translation. Really dope video on that. So shout out to you, Flip. Definitely have you here as a guest for sure. Real soon, my brother. But like Carlos Beltran, like the way I see it is the change of the narrative for us. He was for us, and I know he wasn't like not gonna have the career that Juan Soto has, but he was basically the best free agent out there, and we landed him. And he landed the Mets, and he just changed the culture for us. He changed the fact that we could believe in a team again. My favorite moment, believe it or not, and I'm so happy that he chose the Mets. I think he should have chosen the Mets. I think the ownership make sure that he chooses the Mets by having him the last couple of years and having him in the front office and giving him all the love. My favorite moment to Billy is not just the great great postseason they had in 2026. It was actually the cash he had. Sorry, yeah, 2006. The cash that he had earlier that year, where he climbed fucking the hill in Astros, and I forgot what it was called. What was the Astros Stadium called? I don't know if you guys remember.
That was Minute Maid Park.
Minute Maid Park, right?
What was that hill called?
Climbed that hill and just did a.
Wasn't it called Enron Field too?
Before that,
before that, yeah. So it's plays like that. You used to see in Kansas City. You saw it for a couple of months in the Astros before he was a Met. It's plays like that. He was your typical 5-tool player. Great career, Puerto Rican man. You know what I'm saying? We were the Puerto Rican Mets in 2006, man. It was beautiful, man. For the culture, for the Spanish community, for Dominicans, for Cubans, for Venezuelans, for Mexicans. It was so fucking fire. Like I want that shit injected in my veins, and Carlos Beltran was that. So it took a while because Carlos Beltran was my all-time favorite Met, even more than Mike Piazza. Mike Piazza was like a god to me. It took a while for Lindor to pass Carlos Beltran, but that just happened like literally like a year and a half ago. But man, Carlos Beltran, you're a real one, man. So
forever in our hearts, brother.
Who's next?
Yeah, bro. Now, just to jump in, Tupop, as a fellow Boricua, obviously he's the third Met. He's the third player. Is going to be the resident Boricua. But he's the third Met in the Hall of Fame, right? Wearing the Met hat, and as a Puerto Rican, super, as a Met fan, very proud. I think that's with him will be 6 members of the Hall of Fame from Puerto Rico. I think we're tied with Cuba for the most in Latin America. To all my DR friends, my Dominicans, you guys will surpass that very, very soon and have the lead in that category. But no, it brings a lot of pride. And obviously seeing him with the Mets, and especially coming off that crazy, I mean, you talked about the 06, but how about 04? With the Astros, I mean, the guy played 12 games. He batted .435, 8 home runs, 14 RBIs, 6 stolen base, like insane. Like, and I remember watching that postseason and watching that run, and I'm like, oh my God, he's a free agent. Because in 04, 05, like, you had the blogs out there, but Twitter wasn't around, right? And so you're really relying on sports radio or ESPN, and you're watching the games. You're like, man, do we have a chance? We got the Wilpons, but wasn't sure, right? And so I remember seeing that break, I think on ESPN. I'm not 100% sure how I found out he got signed, but I remember the day. My favorite memory was the day of his press conference. I remember I was in high school. I don't want to give my age for all the youngins out there, but I was a freshman in high school, and I remember I was a freshman in high school, and I remember playing sick because I knew the press conference was like, I think late, I forget exactly, but late morning, early afternoon. Yeah. And I went to the nurse's office and said I didn't feel good, and I went home and watched the press conference. So but shout out to him. And I know we're gonna touch on the WBC stuff later if we have time, but obviously with all the stuff that's going on with Puerto Rico and with baseball not being what it used to be, he's kind of one of the last pillars of that era that's a great ball player. So Lindor will be next, I think. Yadier Molina will be in there too, so we'll still have some. But yeah, super proud, man.
Speaking of 06 with Molina, huh? Yo, Beltran. When I was in high school for the 06 season and I was playing ball, I modeled my swing after him. I had a Cuban coach that told me, stop being Manny, try to be Beltran, because I used to one-hand it. My follow-through, as soon as he changed that one adjustment, told me to watch Beltran swing. That changed my whole trajectory in high school and how I played ball, man. And just the 05 season to the 06 season, just what a difference that was, bro. Like, seeing him be this almost mirror image of what Juan Soto kind of was, like that quiet kind of work ethic, works harder than everybody in the dugout, works harder than everybody in the locker room type of player.
All business. He
knows he's the shit.
Yeah.
06, you bring in that guy that could take away all that attention from him and let him just play in Carlos Delgado, who I fucking love. He was like, that was Unk in the dugout, and he made sure shit was on point, and Beltran just played ball. You see it in the dugout. I watch sometimes on my little spare time, I'll watch some of those 06 old school games and all that shit, but you see the dynamic. I mean, now as a 30-something, I see.
What? 30 what? Say that again.
Damn. I see these dudes. They're like younger than us and whatnot in the dugout, and you know that dynamic must have been crazy in there. So to see Beltran just post up, shut up, perform, and also be loose. I remember that merengue night in 06. Beltran's out there with Delgado and Andy Chavez and Reyes and Pedro dancing and getting loose. These motherfuckers were also just icons for the culture, icons on and off the field. And yo, Beltran, I can't wait for that number 15 retirement, bro. Thanks for
Yes,
that catch.
sir.
That shit was on my birthday, B.
Yo,
No,
Lee,
of course.
I was gonna say, bro, you know we getting old when we start checking out the players' moms. I'm like, oh, damn, that's your mom starting to look like our age and shit. That's how we know we get old, bro.
Real talk, man. God damn.
No, but this holds a special one in my heart, not only because he chose the Mets to go into the Hall of Fame, but my very first Met jersey as a 4-year-old was a Carlos Beltran jersey. I got to meet Carlos Beltran. Speaking of merengue night, I got to meet Carlos Beltran at merengue night as a little 6-year-old. And you know, really didn't say much because you know when you're starstruck, you kind of really just can't say nothing. But you know, just watching him, you know, it was bigger than life. But to just watch him, you know, I was watching Met games during the 06, 07, you know, with my grandfather, who's a diehard Met fan, and just hitting those home runs, man, they were historical. Just watching him put on a Met jersey, what he was able to do for the for not only, you know, the organization, but for Puerto Rico. He has a baseball academy in Puerto Rico, and when I went to Puerto Rico to play a tournament out there, they gave us a tour, and you know, people talk about, you know, his stats, people talk about what he means to the game of baseball, what he's been able to change for the country of Puerto Rico in terms of that. I mean, that academy is giving these kids a way out. That academy is giving these kids an opportunity to play a sport that, you know, they grew up on. He's allowing that to have that possibility of, you know, scouts going in there. You know, he has scouts every year that go there to look at these kids that are under his academy. He's creating an opportunity. He's creating a branch for these young players that want to, you know, chase a dream. So there's so much that he does off the field that I don't really think gets talked about enough because his accomplishments on the field are so big. But he's done so much for the Mets organization. He's done so much for us within memories. Like I said, I remember watching 06, 07, 08 as a youngin', just with my grandfather, and him being able to give us those memories. And, you know, he truly deserves this moment, not only for the Mets, you know, the Mets community, but for the you know, representing the Latin community, the Latin baseball community. So he truly deserves this moment. I'm so happy for him, and I'm even more happy that he's going in there as a New York Met. And, you know, it couldn't happen to a better guy. So congratulations to Carlos Beltran.
So I saw a note real quick. I'm gonna just take this real quick. All right. So
Let's do it.
We're not blind to 2006. We all know the crazy curveball by a fucking Hall of Fame, but the nastiest pitch you're ever gonna see in your fucking life. Mind you, again, I think Ricky talked about some of the numbers. What was it? 1,000 OPS, 3 home runs, 4 RBIs, batted 300, fucking on base percentage, crazy defense. But he's defined for one play. Fuck all that shit, man. You try to hit that goddamn curveball. Fuck out of here, man.
Yeah, you know, I don't want to say it's a touchy subject for me because it really isn't. That was 20 years ago, and I understand it and I get it, but what he did for the New York Mets in those 7 seasons will always be remembered. There's no way you can sit there and tell me that what he did for us wasn't great. The guy, first of all, that postseason was ridiculous. When he came in 2000 and when he came in 2006 and he saw 2005, like we mentioned, he did the whole postseason in Houston 2004. So when he came to the Mets, I was like, oh my God, like if we can get that, that would be amazing. So what happens in 2006? We make the playoffs and we go that deep run. He played 10 games, 10 hits, batted 278 with 3 home runs, 5 RBIs, 9 walks, 2 stolen bases. His on-base percentage was .422. Slugging was .556 with an OPS of .978. If you're going to do that by just taking his that holding that pitch, and that's going to define your Carlos Beltran career as a New York Met, then I don't know, man. I can't do that. I know, and it broke our hearts, but I'm not going to define his career with the Mets on a pitch that he missed.
I always think about what moment in Mets history, what would it be like if Twitter were around when that happened, bro? we're already, where our fan base as a whole just is already a little, off the hinges, and I think we all can agree that's a very nice way of putting it. I can tell you that if that had happened and we had Twitter back in the day, it would have crashed the whole damn site, just because of that whole, the pitch, the sequence, the fact that it was Game 7, the bases were loaded. I mean, it was like every situation that you tried to play in your mind in your backyard, you Carlos Beltran had that opportunity, and unfortunately he didn't. And the funny thing is, the next 2 years, right? This is a team that blew a few 7-game, division leads during the last month of the season, and nobody really gave Beltran a lot of crap because Beltran was still doing his thing. He was still an elite 5-tool player. And when we think about and honestly, when we signed, and I think a lot of us, when we signed Soto, I think at least for me, the first player I thought of was like, this felt like Beltran all over again. When Beltran came to this team, it felt like it validated us. It felt like it took the organization to a different level. It was like, okay, this is the way that this team is going to get good, is going to be by recruiting the top tier talent. And I was looking the other day about Beltran and his stats, and it was like, all right, he had 70 WAR, which puts him around like in the 100 area. But if you look at all of the people around that, I was thinking to myself, like, wait a minute, all these guys are in the Hall of Fame that are around that area in terms of career WAR. Like, why did it take Beltran 1 and 2 times to get there? Now, obviously, there's also his link to that Houston Astros team, right? That on that end, right? But before that, he was a guy who was very keenly aware of like certain stealing signs from other teams legally, right? Now with the damn trash can, but I'm saying legally, he was one of the guys that really pioneered that. Whenever you talk to other players, they always talk about like how smart he was. And that's why a lot of us think like, man, this is a guy that could be a manager someday. Like at some point, like there could be a time when Carlos Beltran is, and he was our manager for what? 24 hours?
Days.
48 hours? Was he our manager?
Weekend.
You know what I'm saying? So I think we all agree. It was only a matter of time before he was going to be a Hall of Famer. I don't think any of us really thought he was going to wear any other hat. Now the only last thing to do, retire that number. Sorry, TT, you got to pick a different number, my guy. You're going to have to come into spring training, So, the 4 or 5 people, like we know Pope bought Mark Vientos. He was one of like 6 people. The other 5 are in Mark Vientos' family that bought the jersey. There's the 3 people who bought the Tyrone Taylor jersey, man. You're going to have to return it. Unfortunately,
you're gonna see it here, man. Watch.
No, but it's well deserved. I think we all agree, like he's one of the greatest Mets of all time, and I think just as a fan base, I think over time we've forgiven him. So
yeah, no, I mean,
go ahead, Randy.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say before Randy goes, just really quick. I mean, I'm not gonna give you all the numbers of Carlos Beltran as a Met. I'll just give you OPS. So the first year, off year 744, OPS 982,
He was also
878,
hurt.
876, not 915, 768, which was an off year. He didn't only played a couple of games. Jumped it back up to 910. Was hurt that year as well. 904. I mean, we're getting like before he was traded to San Francisco for obviously Zach Wheeler. Obviously, we should have kept him, but we had a couple of great years with Zach Wheeler. So Beltran he was the gift that kept out coming. So great Matt. So sorry,
No.
Randy, go ahead.
No, absolutely an awesome man. I don't think that that one pitch just destroys his whole legacy as a Met. Like, I think honestly, Carlos Beltran was an awesome Met. I mean, I loved watching Carlos Beltran as a kid. I really did. Like, his defense was elite. He was just the multiple home runs he had in the playoffs. I think Carlos Beltran is so awesome to see, him in the Hall of Fame, and as a Met, not as this Kansas City Royal, not as any other team, no, as a New York Met. And I kind of wish this guy, was kind of our manager. I don't know. I feel like Carlos Beltran has like a connection with this team. So I kind of when there was talks about him being the manager, I wanted him like really bad to be the manager because I want to see how that would have been. But as a player, this guy day in, day out would kill it. I mean, absolutely kill it. And watching him with Carlos Delgado, yep. I mean, that was just awesome. Awesome to see as a kid.
Yeah, son.
Awesome to see as a kid.
Son.
So, let me see here. A comment. We got people forget Beltran was a switch hitter. One of the best switch hitters. Who batted elite from both sides of the plate.
Yeah, dog. He was a Puerto Rican Mickey Mantle, bro.
I still wanted him to be our manager. Yeah, I see what you're saying, bro. And Carlos agreed with you, Pope. Absolutely agree. Yeah. I wish Mets fans thought like you do, man. Because we're just gonna let that one strike kill him. Like, we're gonna let that one pitch just destroy his whole legacy. I'm just not with that,
bro. If you're still holding on to that, bro, you got some growing up to do, bro.
Yeah,
because
and try to swing at that shit yourself. Yeah. You're talking about like the man who was not throwing the fucking crazy ass curveball wasn't a fucking Hall of Famer, and like they didn't win the World Series. Like, come on, man.
Come on, what are you doing?
And absolutely Hall of Famer. I mean, Puerto Rican, Hall of Famer is so awesome.
He's Puerto Rican Mickey Mantle, bro.
Yeah, man. I mean, I was watching when he got that call. I was like, yo, that was so cool. Like, he should have been in the Hall of Fame. But the whole thing happened with the scandal and with the Astros, and that's why it took a little longer.
Nobody cares.
And I understand,
I hope he becomes our manager. So
the cheating and the sign, the garbage can, whatever.
Yeah, look, you trash cans to Queen, son. Come on.
I don't think that's gonna take away from his being a Hall of Famer.
There's a better question though. Staying on the Beltran topic, do you guys think that his number should be retired with all the accolades he's done, not only as a Met, but overall?
100%.
Well, as a Met, do you guys think the Mets should retire?
Even if he didn't get the Hall of Fame, if they did him dirty, I still think he should have gotten his number retired in Citi Field in the rafters.
Yeah, 100%. TT just got a new number, bro.
He's he's making the Hall of Fame this year. I think the Mets are still deciding it in the Mets Hall of Fame, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. Yes.
I think that would be something. That'd be something to think about after that. I think after he makes the Hall of Fame, that's something that they're gonna probably decide next year. If I'm saying yes, of course, man. I fucking love. He's my favorite fucking player of all time until Lindor. I mean, J-Fran was there, Top was there, fucking everybody's there when the fucking Grand Slam against the stupid Phillies. So it took a ridiculous like performance by. You know what I'm saying? I love Lindor, but Beltran was the guy, man, for me. So it's just he deserves all the accolades. He's still with the organization. He's a great man. I wish we had a better team around him, and I wish we had better luck in sports. You need better luck. It is what it is, right? Fellas, so we got to go.
My fault. Just one other thing.
No,
about like people And to that point about people like thinking about like why wasn't he in the Hall of Fame beforehand? We got to remember like this is still writers who hold grudges, writers who think they're sanctimonious and high-handed, right? You think about what just happened it doesn't just happen in baseball, right? We have a lot of real fun discussions about who should be in the Hall of Fame. We think about football, man. Bill Belichick didn't make the Hall of Fame because you had a bunch of like really angry people that said like, you know what? I don't care how many Super Bowls you won. We're not going to let you in the Hall of Fame because you were an asshole to me when I was asking you a question. Because it's still writers that have to put these guys in them. And so like these guys who used to get a pass, who wouldn't get a pass from these guys are going to hold these grudges. We talked about it. Bill Polian did that to Robert Kraft, also didn't get inducted to the Hall of Fame. Bill Belichick, you know, I'm sure as hell Tom Brady's going to make it in first time, but still, you don't know what kind of like thing, what they hold against some of these guys. Same thing in baseball, right? Like you might not agree with everything that Curt Schilling did as a human being, right? After, right? But on the baseball field, right? If you look at just his career stats, does he deserve to belong in the Hall of Fame? Hall of Fame discussions are always fun, but some of that whole crap like gets taken out by some of the writers who hold these grudges, man.
Speaking of personal grudges,
hey, man,
we're gonna transition to this next topic, and that's Framber motherfucking Valdez, y'all.
So yeah, and we
Is this the infamous pitch?
I want to make sure you guys understand what we're watching here. So we want to look at the pitch mix here. So you're gonna see like boom right there. Did you see that? 93 miles an hour, right down the middle. Boom. That's worth 38 million. Look at his face. Look at the face. Look at the face. Confused, and boom.
Yo, man, the look back too. Ooh.
But look at the catcher. Look at the catcher looking at him.
Look at the catcher. Look at the
catcher.
What are you gonna do?
He almost had it. So this is worth $38 million. 115. We're trolling, obviously. So we were going to give you some pitch mixes. We talked about Framber Valdez being hopefully a future Met. That didn't happen. So we had a different kind of video for you before, but now we just want to troll. Framber Valdez is worth every cent of the $38 million. The only reason, again, that Framber Valdez was delayed because he had a qualifying offer. He had a second half that wasn't so great. There's a couple of other pitchers that are out there as well. He's worth every fucking penny. And it wasn't because he did that stupid shit down the middle. By the way, yeah, it looks pretty bad. But at the same time, you're a fucking catcher. Catch the fucking ball. So Framber Valdez signed for $115 million. Detroit Tigers. So nobody cares about what's that guy's name again?
Whatever.
I'll send you $2.
Cesar
Salazar.
Caesar salad.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
So,
bro, it's we here at Queens Baseball are big advocates for signing Framber. If you pass the luxury tax, you might as well go crazy at some point for the right talent, of course. I've been saying, Pope said it on the space the other day. Bring us Framber, bring us the Caesar salad, and every Friday, fireworks night. Imagine Framber Valdez with fireworks going on behind him. Just fucking Caesar salad getting rocked every pitch after pitch after pitch.
Ovi, just imagine Saturday nights, Citi Field, lights off, fireworks, right? You take Framber, you sign the fucking catcher, right? And you just turn off the lights while he's throwing another 93 mile an hour.
Pitch,
you saw the movement in that ball, though? Like, that was like right there.
Yeah. I'm with it. I was with
guys.
it. Now he can do it in Detroit, bro. And big up Framber for getting his bread, bro. I don't want to hear the bullshit about he hit his catcher. Fuck up.
Well, speaking of
obviously
bread,
Detroit Tigers felt that didn't matter.
Yeah, and shout out to Tariq Schoolball getting his money.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Payday.
Tariq Schoolball. I mean,
payday.
Something to talk about, right? I mean, look, right, guys. So everyone assumed, right, that right away Framber signed with the Tigers. You know, Met fans, I don't blame you guys. Jumped on, hey man, that means he's getting. I actually thought the opposite. I honestly thought that's a winning move. I think Framber's a winning player. He proved it in 2022. He had one really bad game and one really great game in the World Series. So the point is, he's a World Series champion. He's now, matched up with the best pitcher in baseball, the 1A, the 1B, whatever you want to call it. I think he's the best pitcher in baseball. I don't think there's anybody better. Skeens is right there, young buck. He's gonna, he's probably gonna take that mantle maybe this year, the next year. But right now, I still think is Skubal. And now you have a Framber Valdez, a top 10, top 12 pitcher in baseball. Together, two lefties. It's gonna be interesting in Detroit. So I'm not really gonna be the one speaking about Skubal until maybe next year. I don't think he's gonna get traded. I think they're gonna have a solid team. Let's see what the offense do, but they're in it to win it. So
there's a reason the opt-out is after the second year and not after this year with Framber. You know what I'm saying? They're fully expecting Fam to.
I kind of wish that like Stearns was on like interested and he would have got him. He would have got Framber. Like I would have given him that same deal. I mean, I would have definitely 3 years, 115. I would have loved to have him in this rotation, and I would have probably traded either David Peterson or Kodai Senga to make space for him, because I think Framber would have been awesome. It would have been awesome to have like a Freddie Peralta, freaking Framber Valdez, Nolan McLean. It would have been awesome, but it is what it is. I think this gives opportunity definitely for the younger kids like a Jonah Tong, like a Christian Scott, who's coming back from injury, and he's going to be interesting. So I in the Skubal thing, I think let's wait, bro. Like let's wait. Let's wait until next year, and hopefully the Mets go after him. I think the trade thing, I don't see him being traded. And I think that the Tigers, according to Ken Rosenthal, who said today that they don't want to trade him. They want to keep him. They want to keep him.
It would be. I don't want to say it would be stupid, because obviously you would want to get the best offer, and you would get the best offer now because you would be like, hey, look, you're going to get a whole full year of Skubal. But the last 2 years, they've made a good playoff run. Why would you try to break that now? You're signing Framber, and so basically you're strengthening that pitching rotation. So I don't see him getting traded. I mean, of course, I could be wrong. I mean, I would hope he's wrong. Could come to Queens, but just in the baseball aspect, I don't think he'll get traded. I don't see the Tigers losing that many games where they're not in the playoffs, especially by the All-Star break, and then when it comes to the trading deadline, to get rid of him. But next year, I agree with Randy. Next year, in the off season, hopefully we are in the discussions, and
let's have next year. And I get it. There's no guarantee that you're gonna get him. I understand that, but man, the Mets, they're interested. They're interested in Skubal. I've seen reports that they would be interested, but it is what it is. I think waiting is probably the right thing to do.
Yeah. That division is also that's a crappy division, by the way. I mean, the Tigers could, even without Framber, should have been looked at as one of the better teams in that division. It's them. It's Cleveland. By the way, Cleveland had to go on an insane
run
just to get to the playoffs.
Started with us, by the way, when they swept us, if you remember. That's so
right. Yeah, just to get to the playoffs. And to me, Detroit just said, no, we're not going to deal with that second half. We're not going to deal with that. We're going to give Tariq Skubal a little help. They've got a really good shortstop that's going to come up from their minor league system, Kevin Gonigal, who's supposedly one of the best prospects in baseball. They have like guys in that minor league system that are ready to step up. Casey Mize is going to take a step forward, I think, when you think about that team and that division. Like I said, it's the Minnesota Twins, who, by the way, they don't know if they, outside of like one or two guys, they don't really have anybody of note on that franchise that you would think, if you're the Detroit Tigers, you're looking around in that division and like, man, I really don't have to do much. So it's almost impossible for them to even be in a situation like everything would have to go wrong for them to look at be July 30th, right? Because the trade deadline this year is August 3rd or some weird,
August 3rd,
like August 3rd or whatever. They'd have to be in a crazy situation for them to wake up on like August 2nd and be like, oh shit, we're like 10 games under 500 and we're like not in the running for this division. So again, I think it was kind of like wishful thinking for a lot of us for that 5 seconds before shout out to our guy Will Salmon came in with hey, the Tigers are looking to compete. They're not selling Tariq Skubal, and everybody was like, I bet we're not getting it. So
it's understandable. Like he's the best pitcher in baseball. And so it's like any fan base is going to think, look, there's going to be 25 teams that are going to be interested in Skubal after the year, but there's going to be 5, maybe 6 teams that can afford him, both New York teams. I don't know if the Red Sox want to go, actually be a big market team again and start getting the big players like Skubal. Toronto's going to be involved. The Mets are going to be involved, obviously part of the boat. The Dodgers for sure, and then there's always those little like San Francisco's of the world that come out of nowhere type shit. So all those teams are going to be involved. We're going to see where he wants to be. Not our problem right now. We got Freddie Peralta. We got 5 other guys that we're going to ride with right now. And if there's going to be another pitcher that we needed, it won't be a Tyrese Skubal. Trust me, it'll be someone else. If that's it. Or everybody bring up a kid. That's going to be the team. That's going to be the pitching lineup. Hey, go ahead, Swift.
Jack Wenninger. When you want to just spell it. But
so when you pronounce it, also spell it out though slowly, like with the.
But but to your point, we've got a lot of young pitchers. We just saw some of the recent lists come out. Will Watson was a guy that probably a lot of people don't know about. That suddenly made it onto the Baseball Prospectus list. We've got Jack Wenninger, another guy that's been on those lists, right? We've got a lot of pitchers that are going to suddenly start becoming more homegrown names. And don't forget about Jonah Tong, even though he's probably not going to be on the major league roster when opening day comes. He's going to be on that train very soon. My guy, don't buy that 12-month lease, okay? Like rent. All right.
Yeah.
Don't get that Airbnb, rent for a few months, but you're going to be there till June. But so we've got a lot of pitching, and I think that's the kind of outlook that the Pobo is looking at when he looks at the roster. He's thinking to himself, he's got a lot of ways that he can go. And again, the Mets have enough pitching where they can pull off some of these trades without really giving up anybody of note. So. A lot of good things.
That's a good point. Like all those pitchers that you have mentioned are probably could be really good. Hopefully they become impactful in 2026, but they're also trade bait. So it's the Mets have a lot of choices when it comes to that. I'm sorry guys, Tyrese Skubal would not be one of them. At least not into he's a free agent, and hopefully we throw him a big ass bag and he comes here and we're gonna be shaking ass for Tyrese Skubal. But that ain't gonna be to the end of this year.
We'll see you in December, Tariq, at the GM meetings, baby.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention something real quick, notable. I know we don't have too much time. We're getting almost to the 90-minute. I appreciate everyone again. Please retweet. Please like. Please follow. We appreciate y'all. Like, again, you guys, we can't do this show without y'all, man. I want you to understand that we can't do this without y'all. And we're going to try to be as consistent as possible. We're going to do this every Thursday. Next week, we're going to give us a little more time to do a space before the live like we did last week. It's going to be a little bit different variation every week, but I want to say something real quick. We didn't get to a couple of quick things. There was a big rumor out there with either Brett Beatty or Mark Vientos. I'll try to read the tweet for you. Do you guys have that posted? Okay, you do have it posted. So, all right, you see it there. Sources say that the Mets, the Pirates are interested in either Mark Vientos or Brett Beatty. That the asking price is high. So what does that mean? We just talked about 500 bats for Brett Baty, and he's talked about in a trade. We talked about 450 to 475 bats for Brett Baty, and he's talked about in a trade. What does that mean? It definitely ain't Paul Skeens, so don't be thinking about Paul Skeens. We're not unrealistic Met fans. Is it Bubba though? Is it one of those like young pitchers that we can add maybe a top 10 guy that will make sense? I don't have the calculator in front of me, OV, so I don't know.
Jared Jones,
what is it?
Jared Jones, it could be.
Just remember that the Pirates cannot afford bats. We can give them a bat that has 4 years of control. Maybe we'll get a pitcher. Maybe they'll take one of our pitchers as a swap. We're not sure what the trade is, but that same writer today said he expects Mark Vientos to be in the Pirates starting lineup. What the hell does that mean? He's in our starting lineup. Didn't you see Queens Baseball did that? We put him in opening day. How he's going to go? Hold on. First of all, how he's going to be playing for both teams? That's what I'm saying. Because, like the Pirates are coming to Citi Field, right? You see him there, right? He's right there. It's Mark Vientos. How is he going to be batting 4 for the cleanup for the Pirates and 7 for us? I don't know. Is it going to be a trade? I have no idea. We haven't heard anything yet, but the dude is credible. He has 120,000 followers. He's a Pirates beat writer. That's what he believes. He had a report yesterday. I have no idea. Is it one of those young pitchers? Is it one of the young pitchers and we're trying to grab a bullpen piece and then we give him a top 5, top 10 guy? I don't know. I don't know about the top 5, but let's say top 10. Is it Peterson involved in this trade? Not sure. I mean, we do have a lot of pitchers now. So what do you guys think before we wrap it up?
So I think Vientos can go on both teams. I mean, he's the DA, so he'll bat for us and he could bat for them. I mean, it works, right?
I think it's cap, bro. Sorry. I ain't buying
By the way,
this whole shit is nonsense.
They just signed Jose Urquidy, if you remember.
Yeah.
Who pitched for the Astros for a couple of years. Would that be pitching depth? I don't know.
Wrong former Astro.
What's that?
It's the wrong former Astro that they signed.
Hey, that's their Framber. Leave them
That's
alone.
their Framber. I'm calling cap on the whole shit with Beatty and them.
Yeah, you don't believe it?
Nah, I think they're trying to drive up like the trade value on him via the open market.
All right. Well, we'll see. I mean, it was interesting when we finalized our 26-man roster. I think we'll do probably 26-man roster next week, but we have everybody that we believe are going to be in the 26-man roster. Is Ronnie there? Not sure. We'll give you a little. I know it's Randy's guy. Give you a little preview for next week's show. That's definitely something to discuss. I think Ronnie's going to be in AAA, but we'll see. Is he going to make the 26-man roster? Is Mark Vientos going to make the 26-man roster? And apparently he's going to be batting for 2 teams in opening day. It's going to be the craziest shit. Maybe put some mustache on. I have no idea how this is going to work. But apparently that beat writer said that he feels that. So go ahead, Swift.
He might be at Citi Field, but he might not be wearing a Met uniform. Okay, he might be wearing a Pirate uniform, and he might be batting 5th, 4th in that lineup.
I tweeted today, like, hey, David Stearns let Pete Alonso walk, traded Nimmo, traded McNeil, and made Mark Vientos and Beatty available, but you have to pay a price. That's some gangster shit, man. You gotta love it. So, any last words, guys, before we go?
No, I just thank you guys for listening to us for an hour and 32 minutes.
Yeah.
Shout out to the 315. Man, we appreciate y'all.
That's awesome.
Make sure you guys like, share,
yeah.
and as always, we always tell you guys, yo, let's go Mets, man. But like Rube said, without y'all, this wouldn't be possible. We do this for y'all. We to enjoy the conversation and just keep things rolling. So we do appreciate the love and support.
We really do. We really do appreciate the love and support. We're trying to do this every Thursday for you guys at 8:30 consistently, bringing on a Mets best show that we possibly can. I think this was an awesome episode, and you can follow, me. My channel is Randy Talks Mets. You can follow Top Bunk Sports on YouTube. You can follow the Pope on Twitter. He does the Queens Baseball Spaces, and yeah, he's put in so much work, and that's why we're doing this here. You can follow Swift as well. All the tags are right there. Swift as well. Ciao, fellas. Patty.
Bye, Patty.
Really appreciate you, Patty.
Bye.
But no, at the end of the day, man, we love baseball, and Yeah,
We love the
we out
Mets.
here. Queens baseball.
Queens baseball, y'all. Always Queens baseball.
Please get the money, B.
Oh,
What I really think is that we haven't even seen the David Stearns team yet. We haven't even seen the David Stearns vision yet.